Hello there everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to another review. And this review is for the new Adam Sandler film that's just dropped today, March the 1st 2024 on Netflix, Spaceman. Now, Spaceman has positives and it has some negatives, if not more of the negatives than the positives, or more positives than negatives. It depends how you look at it, and it depends how you like your films. But I'll talk a little bit about Adam Sandler. He's not really an actor that I follow quite often. You know, he's a comedic actor for the most part. That's what he's well known for. You know, the films I know him from is Anger Management with Jack Nicholson, The Wedding Singer, you know, and there's a bunch of others. But for the most part, he's not really an actor that I've followed like his career for. But over the last few years, since he signed this multi-year deal, a multi-film deal, which I think he's just renewed with Netflix, the last few outings I heard that he's trying to become more of a serious actor and deliver more powerful, serious roles. And for the most part, what I'm hearing, it's very, very positive. So because of that, I did a trailer reaction for Spaceman when it first was released a few months back, and I was very, very much intrigued because of the cast and because of the concept behind this film. So I thought, let's give it a go. Let's click on the reminder for when it's released and check it out when it hits Netflix. So here we are. So let's have a look at Spaceman with Adam Sandler. So first of all, let's look at the plot synopsis. So the plot synopsis, I'll get it right, plot synopsis. Let's have a look at that, and it states as followed. 6 months into a solitary research mission to the edge of the solar system, an astronaut, Jacob, Adam Sandler, realizes that the marriage he left behind might not be waiting for him when he returns to Earth. Desperate to fix things with his wife, Lenka, played by Carey Mulligan, he is held by a mysterious creature from the beginning of time he finds hiding in the bowels of his ship, Heinous, voiced by Paul Dano, and works with Jacob to make sense of what went wrong before it is too late. So just by the plot synopsis, as you can tell, this just sounds for me like a very much genre type film with the sci-fi element with a human story. That's very much what I got when I read the plot synopsis and when I seen the trailer. Now the film is also directed by Johan Reddick, and it also stars, outside of Adam Sandler, Paul Dano and Carey Mulligan, a name I haven't seen in a film for quite some time. The last thing I had seen her in was Death Becomes Her, and I think there was a few other films she starred in, and then I haven't seen her for a long time, and that is the actress Isabella Rossellini, and she plays Commissioner Tuma. And she does, you know, it's more or less a cameo role. She helps the story go along. The same with this other actor, who is Kunal Nair, and he plays Peter, who is the person who is constantly in communication from Earth to Jacob in the space station during this mission. So this film really starts off straight away with Jacob. You know, he's in this spaceship heading towards Jupiter to see this cosmic, I guess it's like a giant purpley, pinkish, very beautifully done, like solar kind of flare kind of thing that's circling or is near Jupiter, which from the Earth you can see shining far away in deep space. And he's on a mission to go to it, to study it, to understand this purplish solar like flare entity that's near Jupiter. And so that's where it starts off, and it starts off where he's sitting and he does an interview back to Earth, and he comes across very much, you know, chirpy, happy, and he talks about, you know, the mission with Commissioner Tuma, and he gets asked a question by a student. They have questions that have been, you know, picked from people around the world to ask him about this space mission, which he's, you know, very much up for. He's saying, "Oh, I've always wanted to go into space. This is something I've always wanted to do my entire life." And you just get this sense he's in a positive place with it all right at the beginning. And then suddenly this girl asks him this question: "Are you the loneliest man in space, or the loneliest man in the world?" And it kind of, you see like a glimmer in his face that it triggers him in some way, and he kind of explodes it, he kind of brushes it off, blows it off, and expresses himself that, you know, "I have a lovely wife at home, you know, we're in constant communication, I'm not lonely at all." And that isn't, you know, entirely true, because as the plot progresses, you then discover that he is very much lonely. He is very much isolated, and, you know, it's a one-person mission on this space ship that's heading towards Jupiter in this like purplish solar flare type entity that's circling Jupiter. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're starting to get little like hints and flashbacks that life isn't perfect on Earth either with him and his wife. There's clearly a distance between them, and that's not just between outer space and Earth, but within the relationship, within the marriage. And that's where all of a sudden one night he's sleeping and you think it's actually happening, but there's an event that happens and he suddenly starts seeing like this spider-like creature within the bowels of his ship. And you all think it's in his head because, you know, he's on his own. Is he imagining it? Is he hallucinating? Is paranoia starting to set in because he is on his own? And there's literally just him in a radio communicating back to this Peter character, back to Earth. Meanwhile, his wife is like struggling without him, and you discover she's pregnant, and there's a breakdown in the marriage there. And it turns out that this creature suddenly makes an appearance, and he is there to study him and basically understand him, and also help Jacob find some, you know, self-discovery within himself. So that is the basic of like where this thing starts, and throughout it you see glimmers of a lot of positive things and glimmers of things that I don't think everyone will truly get or appreciate or like. It truly, the relationship between Jacob and Hannes, which is the alien, the creature who basically says left their home world after, you know, there was a huge kind of, he's the last of his species, and, you know, there was a huge incident that happened on his home world, and he fled his home world, and he was searching for something, he was looking for something, he was looking for the beginning of space, the beginning of time, and he heard the voice, of Jacob that called out to him, and he went to Jacob to basically, he bonds with Jacob. He basically builds a relationship with Jacob. As he's studying him, Jacob is now allowing some walls within himself to come down, because throughout this relationship and the continuation of this plot, you see Hannes reading his thoughts, reading his mind, and as he's reading his thoughts and reading his mind, you are getting glimpses of flashbacks throughout Jacob's life, and you discover that he's had a bit of a hard upbringing. He was adopted. He had incidents that took place when he was younger, so I believe he does have some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder, which has affected how he has relationships with people, how he interacts with people, how he is able to navigate in his life, and he always seems to find a way to run away and not allow people in. And that's a huge message that this film tries to put out there. It's a film about loneliness. It's a film about self-discovery. It's a film about forgiveness. It's a film about a man who, you know, he looks at his life and he sees the mistakes he's made. He sees past opportunities that he could have had that he let go by, and he's now full of regret as well. So there's a lot of these messages and hidden meanings within the plot that you discover throughout the story, with Jacob and Hannes by his side. And the relationships on Earth is very divided. You know, his wife has now put her own wall up. She's now given up on the marriage. She's now decided it's time to cut ties, and basically she wants to get on with her life, because as much as she's been there for Jacob, she's tried to get his walls down, tried to support him, tried to be a good wife, but he just won't let her in. And because of this, it's created this divide and this separation. And there's no bigger separation than being thousands of miles away in outer space with just a walkie-talkie to talk to back to Earth. The performances in this are outstanding. The performances between Adam Sandler, who I was very much pleasantly surprised with how dramatic he was in this. He is a saving grace in this film, because his performance really was captivating, and you kind of felt everything he was going through, from, you know, not allowing things to come out, allowing him to feel certain emotions, for him, you know, to grieve, for him to let people in, for him to be able to truly showcase, you know, the hurt he had from years of things that happened in the past. And when he wants to be honest with his wife, you know, all of this came in it, and it was very much an amazing performance by Adam Sandler. Paul Dano voicing the, you know, the alien spider creature, Hannes, is absolutely fantastic. He was perfectly cast, and that soothing, soft-spoken voice brings heart and character to this creature. And the visuals of the creature, you know, were very well done for this, for a Netflix show, for the Netflix product. I thought they did a brilliant job with the visuals. There's a lot of use of different colours throughout this movie. There's purples, there's pinks, there's, you know, the creature himself, Hannes, he looks like a stereotypical brown house spider, but with heart and personality. The flashback sequences where you see, you know, they use different, you know, colours throughout and different images in all of this. And the music score in this, I thought the music was well placed throughout this movie for each scene. It really captured the scenes and helped tell the story of, you know, Jacob and his, you know, plight of being stuck in outer space, and really looking deep inside himself, to open up and let things go, and to try to repair things, and show his regret, show his remorse, show that he is, he wants to learn, he wants to do better, and he also wants to progress his life. It's all about forgiveness and opening up and being able to showcase that and say sorry. And they're the things of this film that it's about. That's the messages it's trying to tell. That's what this film is. It is a science fiction film, but it's also a genre movie, and I don't know if a lot of people like genre movies or would get this. When people think of science fiction, they think of things like Aliens, Predator, Star Wars, Star Trek, the new Dune film, and they want action, they want a good plot, but they want action. Or if there is like a genre type alien movie, science fiction, it has to have great pacing, great characterization, people you care about. And I think with this, the pacing is one of the negatives. People might not stick around till the end because the pacing and some of the story points are not well placed or well thought out or put or come together nicely within the plot. But overall, Netflix, I think, did a fantastic job with this. Adam Sandler did a fantastic job. I was really nicely surprised by his performance in this. Paul Dano, like I say, he kind of, alongside Adam Sandler, steals the show just for how he was able to bring this character of Hannes to life. I thought the director, he had great ideas. Some of it was executed well. Like I say, the pacing, I think, might put a lot of people off. There's not much goes on beyond the relationship of these two characters and the history of Jacob and his past and the flashbacks and the relationship there. Outside of that, it's very much just a story, a character-driven story of one person. There's no action. There's no, danger really that happens in this. It's very much a character-driven, dramatic story. And I personally enjoyed the story, but I did have issues with the pacing. I thought they could have explained or went into more detail with some of Lenya's story. You do see something tragic happen with her, which is an understanding why she feels the way she does and has a bit of bitterness between her and Jacob. She wants him around, she wants him to be there, she wants him to be there for a family, but he's always put this wall up, like I say, and he's always held back, and he's always kind of pulled away from her. And he has a lot, by film's end, he has a lot of regret about that. And you see a lot of warmth and empathy with him by the film's end. And there will maybe potentially be a tear by film's end when it becomes to, particular elements of the plot. So, in all, if I had to rate Spaceman, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I was very pleasantly surprised by Adam Sandler. I thought he did a fantastic job. I think Paul Dano, with his, way he brought the character of Hannes to life, is just fantastic. The other cast members, like I say, they're more or less a cameo, but you do have a great sympathy for the character of Lenya and her story. So yes, well done to the cast. The director, he had a vision and he's executed it to the best of his ability. But for me, it's the performance of Adam Sandler, the performance of Paul Dano, the use of colours and the visuals that are the key point of this film. The story won't be for everybody. People might think it's a little bit depressing or a little bit, the film is slow pacing, but this is what that film's intending to be. It's a film about self-discovery when it comes to a person, and, you know, forgiveness, regret, learn, growth. And that's what this film's about. It's not a sci-fi epic by any means. It's a genre film. It's a character story. And that's what you need to take from this. But 6 out of 10 for me for Spaceman. It's not the greatest film, but it's not the worst film either. I think it's a film that will divide a lot of people. It'll be like Marmite. You'll either love it or hate it. But for me, I found it acceptable for what it was, and I understood the messages and what the tone of the film was and what they were trying to portray on screen. So that's my take on the Spaceman. What is your thought on the Spaceman if you have seen it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think of Adam Sandler as a serious actor? What did you think of the visuals? What did you think of Paul Danos? What do you think of the director's effort on this film? Let me know. But there's more reviews coming on the channel. There's going to be more stuff coming on the channel throughout the month of March. And I hope you stick around and you check it all out. I hope you like, share and subscribe this review. And like I always say, keep enjoying your films. Keep on enjoying your television shows. Keep on enjoying all things entertainment, and I'll catch you at the next one.